Hey guys, some of you guys might remember a video a while back from the sports day at the elementary school, and the interest was more about the parents' perspective and the parents' behaviour and that sort of thing, and a couple of people seemed to find that interesting. So this is a bit similar to that, and it was because there was a concert at the kindergarten, right? For the kids putting on a concert for the parents to come and watch. So it was today. So this morning we get an email from the kindergarten that they sent to all the parents with the rules for the day, right? Quite extensive. No surprises in any of this for us because we've been through this lots of times before, so we know all about it, you know. So here's the rules for the day. So, you know, please come to today's event. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. Here are the rules, right? And the first one was, please bring a bag and take your shoes off at the entrance and put your shoes in the bag and carry your shoes around with you inside the kindergarten, right? That's pretty normal. They do that quite a bit in schools and kindergartens and things. And the next rule was, please, if you want to take photographs and video, it's okay, but please only take photographs and video of your own children, right? Which, we could talk about that for 30 minutes, couldn't we? Like, first of all, the thing came to my mind is there likely to be someone there that has amazing talent that you just want to take a video of that's not your kid? I mean, it's sort of understandable. All these things are sort of understandable, right? But when you put them all together in a big list, it's sort of pretty funny, you know. Please take videos and photos of only of your own kid. Also a little bit tricky. Those of you who are parents who've been to events like this, it's very, very hard to take a photograph or a video of your child without including the children that are either side or behind or in front. Very, very difficult, isn't it? But anyway, that was the rule. Only photos and videos of your own child. That's fair enough. Do not put any photographs or videos on SNS. SNS, social network services. That's what Japanese people call social media. SNS. Don't put any photos or video on SNS, which, if you've only taken photos and videos of your own child, not putting them on social media for your family and friends to see would seem to be an interesting rule to make. But anyway, don't put any photos or videos of your child at this event on social media. Okay, fair enough. If you're going to take photos or videos, please hold your camera or phone in front of your face and not higher than your face. So anybody who's been to any event where there's, you know, a bunch of people, you know, first thing people do is hold their phone or their camera up, don't they, and block the view of the people behind them. Then people behind them lift their phone or camera up even higher, and you end up with this big competition who can hold their camera or phone up higher in the air, you know. So please don't hold your camera or phone higher than the level of your face, right? What else did they have? Oh, they had a diagram explaining the seating situation for the day. So they had seats at the back, sort of folding chairs at the back. I'll mention now too, before I forget, it was a 2-hour event, right? A 2-hour event. So some seats at the back, and then at the front half was just mats on wooden floor. And so they had a diagram and an explanation that when your child's class is performing, then you can come to the front and sit on the floor at the front. And then when your child stops performing and some other children are there, you should go back to the back, right? And the funny thing about that was that they didn't have the performances in a sequence like, you know, from the youngest kids to the oldest kids or from that group to that group. What they did is they mixed them up so that they had, you know, the kindergarten kids, right? So you'd have the 3-year-olds and the 4-year-olds come out, they do something. Then the 5-year-olds would come out, do something. Then the 6-year-olds would come out and do something. And then the 3 and 4-year-olds would come out again. and then right, and that went on for 2 hours. So what was constantly happening was that parents were all that were sitting on the floor would all stand up and go to the back, and the parents that were at the back would all come forward and sit at the front, right? And that would have happened, I don't know, 15, 16 times, right, in the 2 hours. It was really funny. It was really funny. And it's interesting too, because we've talked about sometimes at big events, sometimes the behavior can become less than good, you know. But at an event like a school event or a kindergarten, everybody's trying to be on their best behavior, because you know, the other parents sort of know who you are, the teachers know who you are, so people are trying to be on their best behavior and go along with the rules and not cause any waves or anything else, right? So it's really funny to watch. It's just the faffing, it just goes on and on and on. Before I forget too, they always have, at all these sorts of events, they always have some seats that are off to the side. That's the VIP area, right, for the dignitaries, right? And the dignitaries usually come in just before the thing starts. So everybody's in there faffing around trying to find a place to sit or stand. They had all the parents at the back with their tripods and big cameras all have to stand at the back. And then just before it starts, the dignitaries come in, right? And in this case, it was the mayor of the town, and someone from the school board, or so 3 dignitaries came in and sat off to the side and sort of bowed at everybody, and everybody bowed back at them, and that's always, they always do that. So you know, this is a kindergarten concert, right? But the dignitaries come to sort of give it some sort of credibility, you know, and obviously to give themselves some profile because the mayor wants to get re-elected and so on. They did the same thing at the school sports day. You know, they always have a little area set off to the side with a few tables for the dignitaries, right? So the dignitaries are off at the side. So yeah, just the faffing, you know, the faffing. Okay, now it's the different groups coming out. So all those parents get up and go back and sit at the back, and all those parents come forward, sit at the front, you know, and everybody's carrying their little plastic bag with their shoes in it, right? Because, you know, you got to have your little bag with the shoes in it. And almost everybody brought slippers. So what they did is they bring their plastic bag with the slippers in it, and they bring the slippers. They come in, they put their shoes in the bag, they take the slippers out of the bag, put the slippers on, so everybody's mincing around with their slippers on. So they shuffle up to the front and sit down, and then when their kids finish, they shuffle back to the back and they shuffle up to the front. The explanation, of course, there was a list of rules, and I haven't remembered all the rules. There's more rules that I'll remember later. But the big list of rules that were sent to us on that email in the morning, and then before the thing started, the head of the kindergarten came out and welcomed everybody. Thanks, even though you're very busy, thank you very much for coming to the event. And then she listed the same rules that we read in the morning, the big list of rules, the rules for the day, right? And that's really normal in Japan. Any sort of event like that, they always telling you the rules, you know. They've got always make sure everybody knows what the rules are, you know, all the little details. So yeah, the big long explanation at the start, and then in between each little thing, and it's a kindergarten thing, right? They're banging drums and they're singing songs and stuff. I mean, it was great. I should throw in too, the kids had a great time, which is what it's all about, right? The kids had a great time, and of course, you know, the parents love to see their kids doing their thing. So that's all good. That's all good. It's just what stands out is all this rules and explanation and the setsume, you know, the explanation, and between each little show that a teacher would come out and do big explanation, big long explanation. And this is why the thing took 2 hours, you know. And instead of each group just doing their thing and then getting off, a group would do their thing, then another group would do their thing, another group would do their thing, another group would do their thing, and then the first group would come back out and do their thing, do another thing, and do another thing, and do another thing. So just lots of unnecessary changing and faffing and coming and going, and between each thing was this big explanation, which is why it took 2 hours. It's why it took 2 hours, because it just goes on and on and on, and the setsume, you know, it's sort of like, you know, we've talked about the setsume thing before. It's sort of like they're being thorough. like giving you all those rules and explaining everything that's going to happen and everything that just happened. And, you know, big explanations. It's sort of part of the being thorough and taking an interest and caring, and you know, it's sort of considered to be the right thing to do, is to always have the big setsime. So it's funny, it's really funny, you know. I mean, it's great to go and see our kids doing these things, you know, and the kids love it. The kids are loving their parents watching them do the thing. You know, I often think when I go to these sorts of things, kids are kids. You could pretty much go to any country in the world and watch kids behaving, how they behave. And at that age, it changes when they get older. You know, we'll talk about that another time. When they get to junior high school, it starts to change. But when they're little like that, you know, little kids are the same anywhere in the world, aren't they, you know? And watching them, you know, watching them is a buzz for parents and all that sort of stuff. So that's all great. That's all great. It's just inevitably at events like this, for me, it ends up being an observing the adult behaviour, you know, because it's the adult behaviour that's weird. You know, it goes on and on and on, and the faffing and the levels of nonsense, and you know, come on, you know, come on, really? The dignitaries and the bowing when they make speeches and explain things, they say, you know, all these polite things that they say, and every time they say a polite thing, they bow. And the whole group, all the adults, all the parents that are sitting there, all bow too. So the person that's speaking will say something and bow, and then all the adults bow, and then the person speaking will say something else and bow, and all the adults bow. So, for example, they might be saying, please do this, or please don't do that, and then they bow to sort of, to be polite, and then all the people bow to return the bow, and or they might thank you for coming, and thank you for this, and they'll bow, and then all the adults bow. So there's lots of bowing and lots of formality and lots of seriousness going on, you know. And the dignitaries, when they come in, they bow, everybody bows, and then they leave, they bow, and everybody bows. The dignitaries come in last and leave first. And as they leave, oh, thank you very much, and everyone bows, you know. So, it's all good, it's all good. It's just interesting. It's just interesting. This isn't a criticism, it's just an observation. It's just interesting. You know, this, it's just the culture in your face, you know. And it just becomes, for me, it always becomes a study of the behaviours, you know, the adult behaviours, you know, the adult behaviours and the group behaviour thing, the group mentality and all that stuff that goes with it, you know. So anyway, that was that. Just these are these things that when you live here, you know, when you come here for a visit, you sort of don't get involved in stuff like this. When you live here, you're experiencing things like this all the time, you know, and yeah, it never, you never stop noticing. These things never become normal, you know. It's always, you know it's coming, you know all that is coming. There was no surprises today at all, but every time it's sort of still, so there it is, you know. Here comes the setsime, here comes the 15-minute explanation. Anyway, that was enough of that. More videos coming soon.